Hey guys, Farmer Jeremiah here with Jocus Farm. I'll be doing a small garden tour. I have a long row of cantaloupe here, French Charente. This is a true cantaloupe, smooth skin. Most of the cantaloupes you get in the grocery store are actually musk melons here in America, or they're called net melons because it kind of looks like a net. And that's this row here. I did this kind of at the last minute because I realized I didn't have enough cantaloupe for my appetite. Then right next door is our sweet corn. This right here is a hybrid called Early Sun Glow. We grew like a 1/4 ounce of seed, which gave us a pretty good plot. And then right here we got some beans mixed in with some milo, also known as sorghum, and a little small section called Earth Tones, which has a multicolor kernel. It's a dent corn that's for like animal feed or flour or meal. Now, right next to the corn here is a little patch of okra that we have going. Wanted to do some pickled okra this year, so I made that patch up. Now outside the high tunnel I have a little container garden going with a few tomatoes. This is a straight 8 cucumber. Got some Tabasco peppers coming in. It's a Tabasco. And then we have a small collection of different kinds of jalapenos. This is a mild jalapeno in a 5-gallon bucket. This one's called Fooled You jalapeno. This is a Tom or a tame jalapeno. They're all pretty mild varieties because I enjoy jalapeno poppers and I don't want to burn myself out too fast. And then I got a ghost pepper this year. Now next to the little cornfield we have one boysenberry bush here. We have a few boysenberries. Boysenberries are thorny, so you have to be careful. And then we kind of have a semi-neglected row of blackberries, but they're starting, whoa! They're starting to put on fruit and flower for us really well. They're thornless varieties. I'm not sure of the strain, but they definitely are a variety that has no thorns and usually produces for us in mid-June. Over here in the corner of our garden we have a couple of compost piles. This one I use mostly for vegetative waste, such as pulling weeds or crops that have gone to flower or other things I don't eat that the chickens don't. The pool is for like composted manure. I kind of let that sit for a year before I actually use it. And then we have a couple of barrels. This one was just, I needed some more room because I had too much in there. And this one right here is mainly for my food waste. Things that I don't use all of in the kitchen, or coffee grains, or some tea bags and stuff like that can't biodegrade over time. And then usually just some like sticks, such as okra stalks, old tomato plants, as long as they're disease free. Over here next to the blackberries and the tomatoes I'll talk about soon is my spaghetti squash plot. That's the only squash I'm growing this year, is spaghetti squash. I really like spaghetti squash and it seems to do pretty well where I live. I also do a pumpkin a little bit later on for a fall harvest. But we planted this on Cinco de Mayo. We planted the corn on April the 20th. And then this little patch here is more cantaloupe I planted earlier. And that's when I realized I didn't plant enough of the cantaloupe and made that section I showed you earlier. And then here's a little potato plot. It's a white potato called Kennebec. It's good for frying, nice multi-purpose, but most of all I enjoy fried potatoes, so I made sure to grow a good amount, I think, for myself this year. Now, next to those plots are our mixed tomato plot. We have all different kinds of tomatoes in this bed. We got some Arkansas Travelers, some organic, Italian Romas. This is a Cherokee Purple. I have them all marked down in a notebook, I just don't remember each one. I got a Jet Star here. It's one of our hybrids we're growing here in the garden. Most of the tomato plants we grow are heirlooms, but I do stick a few hybrids in there just to kind of help production out, because I know for sure this is a Jet Star and this is a Jet Star, and or maybe I'd have to check on that. Pretty sure it's a Jet Star. I labeled it, but yeah, it's a Jet Star. And then we have like some Vernissage, which are little types of cherry tomatoes that have a nice little streaks of green through them. Got a mortgage lifter. Now, most of these plants I grew from seed, but I needed a little help because all of them didn't make it, which happens. But luckily we got these on sale for $1 at our local hardware store. Got another Arkansas Traveler here. Try to keep it mostly heirloom, except for those few hybrids that I'll speak about. And we're doing the basket weaving method with this crop, mostly the ones outdoors. Now this section here is our black cherry section. We do have a couple of different other tomatoes in here, as this one is a yellow pear. But all the other ones we grew from seeds, like I was saying. And this one right here is a Tommy Toes. Next door we're growing a yellow pear section. And these are being grown on the cattle panels and being held up with the pantyhose that I showed you in an earlier video. This is the only one right here. Man, look at that cluster. This one I bought, but all the other ones we grew here on the farm from seed. This plot is another Kennebec plot, potatoes. I call this a secret garden. It was the first raised bed that we did. And after we harvest these, we'll probably put some different plants. I haven't decided yet. Here's our garlic plot that we planted in the fall last year. We're almost ready to harvest here at the beginning of next month, which will be June. And this back section here is the music variety. First time we've been growing that variety on our farm, and it has done really well. The second variety we have here is German Red, and we need to start trimming it on these scapes. We already did the music variety a little bit earlier this month. And then we also grow Spanish Roja, which is our first little section here. I have them marked off with a stick somewhere, but I am unable to find that at the moment. But there are 3 different varieties in this plot. Right next to the garlic is kind of a neglected onion field I tried to grow. Didn't do too well. That happens because you want to rotate your garlic and onions, and you can't grow in the same space for roughly 3 years afterwards, just to be safe from diseases and a certain type of disease that can not let the root grow that well. I got a little nursery over here on my table. I need to water this. This is a currant tomato from some seeds I got from my neighbor. Here's our fall crop of tomatoes that I'm doing an experiment on. This has 1.5 more fertilizer than our original recipe that we've been using. These are all Romas. I love fresh tomato sauce, so once these Romas have produced for us, we will rip them out and replace them with our new seedlings and have some more to plant if so be it. Here's how our strawberries are going. They kind of got burnt on the ends. It happens, you may lose some, but some of them are actually taking root. So you can see them kind of tugging on it, but I'll leave that alone. Some of them have set a foothold in there and have actually started to grow out the middle again. We also have some more peppers that we kept from last year. This is a Caribbean Red Hot, another Tabasco, and here's a Caribbean Red Hot that's actually been setting fruit for us since about late April. And here's a little bit more of our nursery here. Got a Suyo long cucumber in a 5-gallon bucket. Some tomato clones that we've made from suckers. And a few strawberry plants that we got for $1 at the hardware store again. And we're just trying to propagate some more clones out of that. So that's why I'm growing them in buckets to get some runners off of them.